everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media, and today we are talking Bond. James Bond. That's right, it is the first day of summer officially now, and so it is time to kick off the summer of Bond here on the channel. So I want to talk through what my plans are for this summer because I am finally gonna watch a James Bond movie. More so than that, though, I have some other things planned for the month. So today, we're just gonna sit down and talk about everything I have in store for the month. Plus, we're going to do an unboxing of a collection that has been with me for a very long time. So we're going to look at that in the overhead as well. So let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to the kickoff of the summer of Bond. James Bond. So I'll start things off by talking about probably the item that interests most of you the most, and that is the movies. So I've not seen a single James Bond film as I sit here and record this, which is pretty insane that I've not seen any, but that's just the reality of the situation. So a few weeks ago, I put up a poll on my community tab, and I asked you guys, what would you be most interested in hearing about as someone who's never seen a Bond film before? Would you rather I start with the Daniel Craig reboot series with Casino Royale, or would you rather I go back to the very beginning, back to 1962 with Sean Connery's James Bond, and the results were overwhelmingly in favor of going back to the beginning. So that's exactly where I'm going to start. Back in 1962 with Sean Connery's James Bond, I almost said Batman, with Dr. No. So that'll be where I start the summer of Bond, and then I will work forward from there. The goal for the movie side of things is to get through the Sean Connery James Bond films. So like I said, I will start with 1962's Dr. No, and then I will work through, I have them all listed here because I have a terrible memory. So then I'll work through 1967's You Only Live Twice. And that's where Sean Connery takes a break. I don't know what happens, but as I learn more about James Bond and the series, hopefully I'll figure that out as I get to that point. But after that, then George Lazenby took over as James Bond for 1969's On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I'll throw that one in here as well, and then go back to finish Sean Connery's run as James Bond with 1971's Diamonds Are Forever. Now, if you are a Bond fan, you know that there are a couple of other films that were not produced by the main company that produces James Bond films, Eon. There are two non-Eon films, and one of those happens to fall during this timeline as well, and that is the original Casino Royale, which I believe is 1967. That has a different actor playing James Bond, and it's a parody or a satire from my understanding. So it's going to feel a whole lot different than the rest of the James Bond films. So I plan to watch that probably at the end of my run of Bond films. So that means that there are 8 different films I'm hoping to watch during this summer season, which runs 3 months. So that's more than 2 films a month, about 2.5 films each month. So I feel like that's doable. I would love to watch more. Frankly, if I start loving this and start binge watching, maybe I will watch more. But as of now, the goal is to just get through all of the Connery films and then both of the extra movies that are kind of in there in between Connery's run. So that's what I'm hoping to do with the movies. And how will I be watching them, you ask? Well, I will be watching them mostly on the Bond 50 set. Now, this is the original that came out back in 2012. And I will show my Amazon purchase right now. I bought this back in 2012, and I have not opened it ever since. It has been sitting on my shelf over there for 12 years now, which is super embarrassing, but that's what we're here to fix today, is opening this and watching some of these. So as I sit here, I've already filmed the portion where I've unboxed it, but I'm going to share an unboxing with you guys right now, just because it's kind of interesting, much like the Spider-Man, as I go to drop these, much like the Spider-Man set that I filmed an unboxing for recently. It's an older set, but somebody might be interested in seeing the inside of this, because nowadays, if you're going to buy a full Bond set on Blu-ray, you're getting a much smaller package. So this one is a little unique for that. And so also interesting with this is that Casino Royale is not in this one, the newer Casino Royale. Is it? I'm mixing it up. Not Casino Royale. Hang on. It's Skyline, right? Skyfall. Skyfall is the other one. That's that's my James Bond ignorance coming out. Skyfall is not in this set, but there is a bonus disc area for it, which is pretty cool. So you'll see that in the overhead. So let's jump over to that now, and then we'll talk about the rest of the Bond media I'm planning on consuming this summer. I'm sure I mentioned it earlier, but the fact that this has been in my collection now for 12 years is just insane to me. So I'm super excited to get this thing open and finally start watching these. So here is the front of this, and we have the decade, 5 decades of James Bond. And then on the other side there, look at that, 2012, brand new when I bought this back in 2012. And there is the back there. So from Dr. No to Quantum of Solace is what we'll be looking at. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like after all these years of sitting on my shelf. So let me get the knife action going here and get this guy opened up. All right, it has been freed from its shell here. So let's get this off and take a look at the inside of the Bond 50 set. Throw that to the side. All right, so we do have I'm assuming this is a J card. Yeah, this has been on there for so long, though. Frankly, if I can keep that on, I probably will. Actually, it looks like it might be stuck on there, which is even better. So we'll keep that on. All right, so it looks like things are sliding out the side here. There we go. We'll set that down to the side. Very cool. So yeah, I guess each of these, are these 2 separate books? Oh, they are. There we go. All right, so this is 83 to 2012, and then the beginning, so what we're going to be looking at, 62 to 81. I think the movies I'll be watching don't quite go that far, but there we are, the inside. Very cool. So this is where we're starting, 1962, and then we'll be working through 67, 69, and 71, I think, is the last one with Sean Connery. So I believe that's what I'll be watching through for the Summer of Bond, at least this year's Summer of Bond. We'll see what happens for the future, but yeah, that's really nice. I love that. Okay, so that is the first one, from Dr. No to For Your Eyes Only, the first set there. And then let's look at 83 to 2012. Actually, I'll put this one over to that side there. I do like the look of this a little better. The gold looks really nice. Starting with Octopussy, A View to Kill. Very cool looking. You can see some marks here, just probably from sitting in the plastic for so long. I guess that just happens. I guess shelf wear. So there's actually not a whole lot in this. I thought for some reason there was a book with this. This is what I'm most interested in, specifically GoldenEye, just because that's the game I used to play all the time. But that's the one I cannot wait to get to eventually as I make my way through this series. Pierce Brosnan. And then the reboot series with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. And then space reserved for Skyfall. That's pretty interesting. Look for theaters in 2013, or no, in 2012, and then on Blu-ray and DVD in 2013. Very cool. I do have Skyfall. I probably will buy a different disc, though, because that one has the old family video sticker on it. That's completely black, which is a little disappointing. But yeah, Octopussy through the bonus disc and Skyfall coming 2013. That's really cool. I know later releases of this was the original release, and I know later releases obviously include Skyfall in there. And I think there are even later releases that have whatever's after Skyfall. I forget what title it is now, but yeah, so that's pretty darn cool. I thought there was a book in here. Let's take a look, make sure I didn't miss anything. No, that's everything. Oh, I guess I was seeing this and just thought it was a book, but it's not. So yeah, pretty basic, frankly. It looks nice, but yeah, not the book I was expecting, but still looks pretty good. So that is the Bond 50 set. It's a quick look, anyway, at the Bond 50 set, which I think looks pretty darn cool for what it is, and the fact that it's been now over a decade, 12 years since this has been added to my collection, I'm happy that I've finally been able to open this up. And now let's get watching. All right, so with the movie side of things out of the way, what else am I going to do? Of course, I talk all things media here, so it wouldn't be fitting if I didn't add some other sources in. Well, the only James Bond media I've consumed so far is the original novel written by Ian Fleming. That was Casino Royale. I read that one, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago now, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads when I read it, and I thought it was a lot of fun, and it's quick, short, breezy read, relatively easy to get through. So I figured, you know what? Let's go to the second James Bond novel, which is Live and Let Die from 1954. Of course, one of the original, I believe, 12 Ian Fleming James Bond novels. So this one I don't have in the physical form anymore, unfortunately. So if I don't end up finding it, I was actually at Second and Charles yesterday trying to find it used, but I couldn't find it. So I'll probably end up doing this one on audiobook. Now, you can get this on Scribd. At least it used to be called Scribd. It's called something else now, but I know it as Scribd. And so I was thinking about signing up for another free trial there and listening to it that way. But if not, Audible is actually re-releasing all of the James Bond novels in these 4 different collections. And so those don't come out until July, so if I decide to hold off a little bit, I'm going to pick that up and read through it that way, or listen through it that way, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's how I'm going to consume that, is most likely via audiobook. And I'm really excited because, like I said, I really enjoyed Casino Royale, so I'm interested to see what this sequel is going to hold for James Bond. But yeah, that is what I'm going to do on the book front. So let's jump over now to the graphic novel side. So here's another one where I don't have anything physical to show you, but I do have access to Hoopla. And if you don't know what Hoopla is, you probably do, but if not, it is a service that you can sign up for thanks to your library, or utilizing your library, assuming that they are a part of it. And so that's how I have access to Hoopla, which has audiobooks, movies, and, for what's important here, relevant here, graphic novels. And so because of that, I found that there are 2 highly rated James Bond graphic novel series on there that I am going to attempt to get through this summer. There are 2 volumes of a James Bond series that are both written by Warren Ellis. And so there's a volume 1 and a volume 2, and my hope is to get through both of these. I guess this is the 2015 series of James Bond, and the reason I added these is because everything I read said that these are the best of the graphic novels when it comes to James Bond. So volume 1 is called James Bond Volume 1. I believe it's Varger, I think is how you would say that, something along those lines. Correct me if you know how to say it down below. So I'm going to read that one, and then volume 2 is Eidolon? I don't know. I should have looked up how to say these. I didn't even think about it, but I believe it's Eidolon, E-I-D-O-L-O-N. So hopefully you're seeing the graphic novels up on the screen now, but these are the 2 that I'm hoping to get through. So it's not a ton of issues. So therefore, I think it's very doable over this next 3 months here. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of graphic novels. Both of them are Warren Ellis James Bond graphic novels, so they should be super interesting. I cannot wait to do that, and I'm going to read both of these thanks to Hoopla. Finally, let's talk about the video game side of James Bond, which is what I'm actually most familiar with. I've loved a number of James Bond games that I've played over the years, most notably, of course, GoldenEye. I say most notably because I've been playing that one most recently. I'm actually stuck on, I forget the mission, but it's a train. Like, you have to go through the train, and then at the end, you have to rescue someone. It is a big pain in the butt. I've been stuck on it for a long time, and so I just haven't been back to it in a number of months now. But I would love to finish that, but outside of that, there are 2 games that I am contemplating going through. I think I know which one I'm going to try to beat, but if for some reason I get through that quickly, or the disc doesn't work or something, I can't do it, then I'll move on to this one. So this is actually option number 2, but this is 007 Nightfire, and I own this one on the Xbox. I believe this was on GameCube as well as PS2, but I happen to own the Xbox version of it. And this, of course, is Pierce Brosnan's James Bond. And it's a unique story, so it's not based on any of the movies at all. So if I can't beat this first one, I will move over to Nightfire. And the reason I picked Nightfire is, again, doing Google searches, this one is always very highly rated as one of the better ones. So 007 Nightfire is on the list to possibly get through, but the one I am most interested in is the only one that's based on a movie that I will be watching this summer. This is From Russia with Love. So, of course, we have Sean Connery in this, and I believe he actually voices the character as well. From what I remember reading, I think it was before he passed away. So, very intrigued to see if this is any good or not. I've heard really good things, but most importantly, the reason I grabbed this one is because it is based on a movie that I will be watching this month or this summer. So I thought it would be a perfect fit. So yeah, cannot wait to see how this one is. I've actually just picked this one up a few hours ago, so have never played this one in my life. And you can actually see, unfortunately, all they had there was a fake case for the PS2 version, but oddly enough, it does have the manual with it. So that's why I was like, you know what, that'll be fine. So yeah, very intrigued to see how this one is. Of course, it's going to be a first-person shooter, which is what I love. So actually, I'm looking at this. Is this first person or third person? This might be third. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we will find out as we play through it. But yeah, I'll watch the movie and then jump into the game. So that is the video game I know I'm playing. And then Nightfire, if I can get around to it, will be the second one I will try to get through as well. So it is official. The summer of Bond is upon us, and I cannot wait to finally get started on these James Bond movies. I've been wanting to watch them all year, but I've been specifically waiting for this summer to kick off the summer of Bond. So what is it going to look like in terms of reviews or, videos throughout the next 3 months? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. At a minimum, though, I do want to post at least one video each month over the next 3 months to let you guys know where I stand with the summer of Bond. That said, I hope that I'm able to post standalone reviews of all the movies, and then if I do the graphic novels, I would like to do a separate review for that, and then of course the video game. I don't know if I am going to do a separate video game review. That's not really what I do at all, but yeah, I don't know exactly how it's going to end up on the channel, but at some point you will definitely start seeing some James Bond things this summer. So more importantly than that, though, I want to extend an invitation to all of you watching. Whether you are a fellow content creator here on YouTube or someone who just consumes content on YouTube, I would love to have you join in with me. Now, if you are a fellow content creator, please make a video. Let me know what you're watching, what you're going to do for the months. I keep saying month, but for the summer, so the next 3 months, through whatever the date is in September, I forget exactly, but I would love to see exactly what you guys plan to do, if anything. And if you are a commenter, leave those comments down below. What do you want to watch? Is there a James Bond film that you've never seen that you always wanted to? Make it this summer. Make it happen. What about the books? Have you always thought about reading the books or the graphic novels or the games? Whatever. If there's something James Bond that you thought, I should have done that by now, let's do it this summer. Do it with me, because this is going to be really exciting. Like, I cannot wait to kick this thing off. So let me know what your plans are for the summer of Bond if you want to partake. And if not, just let me know what your thoughts are on what I'm going to be watching, reading, and playing this summer. But thank you guys so much for checking this video out. I really do appreciate it. I am going to end things there. So before you go, if you could just hit that like button. That engagement really does help my channel out, so thank you so much for that. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this, I already said that, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Before you go, I just want to encourage you all to consume some media today. Specifically, consume some Bond, James Bond media. I'll catch you all next time.